What if I told you that the Montreal Canadiens came dangerously close to making a blockbuster trade that could have completely reshaped their defensive core and offensive future? All for one player who might be the missing piece to their championship puzzle. The hockey world thrives on the what-ifs that keep us awake at night, and this week brought us a revelation that's sending shockwaves through the Canadiens' faithful. Picture this. Jordan Kyrou, the explosive St. Louis Blues forward with silky hands and game-breaking speed, was reportedly within arm's reach of donning the blue Blanc Rouge. But here's the kicker. The price tag would have been steep enough to make even the most trade-hungry general manager pause and reconsider. Fresh intel from Marco Normandin during his appearance on the Poolcast alongside Pascal Cameron has unveiled a fascinating glimpse into Kent Hughes' summer wheeling and dealing. While fans were buzzing about the Logan Mailloux for Zachary Bolduc swap, apparently that deal was just the tip of the iceberg. The real conversation? A much grander scheme that would have brought Jordan Kyrou to Montreal, but at a cost that would have fundamentally altered the franchise's defensive identity. The asking price? Kaiden Guhle. Let that sink in for a moment. Kaiden Guhle, the 22-year-old defensive stalwart who's been quietly establishing himself as one of the most reliable blue liners in Martin St. Louis' system. The same Guhle who's been shouldering massive responsibilities, logging crucial minutes, and showing flashes of offensive upside that suggest he's just scratching the surface of his potential. Jordan Kyrou isn't just any player, he's a legitimate game changer. At 26 years old, he's entering his prime with the kind of offensive arsenal that makes opposing coaches lose sleep. We're talking about a player who's put up 75 points in a season, possesses elite-level speed that can turn a defensive zone face-off into a breakaway opportunity, and has the hockey IQ to create magic out of seemingly impossible situations. For a Canadiens organization desperately searching for that elusive number 2 center, someone who can take pressure off Nick Suzuki and provide the offensive depth that transforms good teams into great ones, Kyrou represents exactly the type of acquisition that could accelerate their rebuild timeline. He's not a rental, he's a cornerstone piece with term remaining on his contract and the pedigree to perform in high-pressure situations. But here's where the story gets complicated and where Kent Hughes' decision-making prowess comes into sharp focus. Kaiden Guhle represents something equally precious in today's NHL, a young, reliable, cost-controlled defenseman who's already proving he can handle top-4 responsibilities. In an era where quality defensemen command premium prices and take years to develop, Guhle is that rare commodity. A player who's both present-day contributor and future building block. His injury history is concerning. There's no sugarcoating that reality. But when healthy, Guhle brings exactly what championship teams need. Shutdown defensive ability, surprising offensive touch, and the kind of steady presence that allows offensive players to take calculated risks, knowing they have reliable coverage behind them. Trading Guhle for Kyrou would have been the hockey equivalent of robbing Peter to pay Paul, solving one problem while potentially creating another. Sure, the Canadiens would have gained offensive firepower, but at what cost to their defensive depth? With Mike Matheson, David Savard, and other veterans aging, Guhle represents crucial continuity and reliability for years to come. This near miss reveals fascinating insights into Kent Hughes' approach to team building. The fact that discussions reach this level suggests the Canadiens' front office is more aggressive in trade talks than many realized. They're not content to simply wait for prospects to develop. They're actively exploring ways to accelerate their competitive timeline. Yet the decision to ultimately walk away demonstrates equally important strategic thinking. Hughes and his staff clearly recognized that sustainable success requires balance. You can't mortgage your defensive future for offensive immediate gratification, especially when that defensive player is already contributing at a high level and showing signs of continued growth. The Blues, for their part, were asking for exactly what Kyrou's value demands. A player of his caliber doesn't come cheap, and St. Louis rightfully identified Guhle as the type of young, proven commodity that would make such a deal worthwhile from their perspective. This revelation raises intriguing questions about the Canadiens' current direction. If they were willing to consider trading Guhle for the right offensive piece, what does that say about their confidence in their defensive prospect pool? Lane Hutson, David Reinbacher, and others are developing nicely, but are they ready to assume larger roles if established players were moved? More importantly, it suggests that Kent Hughes isn't satisfied with a slow, methodical rebuild. He's looking for opportunities to make meaningful jumps in competitiveness, even if it means making difficult decisions about popular players. The Kyrou discussions also highlight the Canadiens' ongoing center depth concerns. While Nick Suzuki continues his excellent development and Kirby Dach shows flashes when healthy, the team still lacks that reliable second-line pivot who can drive offense consistently. Kyrou would have filled that need immediately while adding versatility to play wing when needed. What makes this story so compelling isn't just what almost happened, it's what it reveals about the franchise's current state of mind. The Canadiens are clearly in a different phase of their rebuild, one where they're willing to consider bold moves to accelerate their timeline. They're no longer content to simply accumulate assets and hope for the best. Yet, they're also demonstrating the kind of disciplined decision-making that separates successful rebuilds from failed ones. Recognizing that Kyrou, despite his obvious talents, wasn't worth sacrificing a key piece of their defensive foundation shows maturity and long-term thinking. This calculated approach bodes well for the franchise's future. They're active in trade discussions, aggressive in pursuing upgrades, but unwilling to make deals that could haunt them for years to come. As the season progresses, don't be surprised if the Canadiens continue exploring significant moves. The willingness to discuss someone like Guhle suggests they're not treating anyone as completely untouchable, except perhaps Suzuki and a select few core pieces. For Guhle himself, this near trade should serve as validation of his value throughout the league. When contending teams are asking for you specifically in trade discussions, it's clear recognition of your importance and potential. The Jordan Kyrou saga that almost serves as a fascinating glimpse into the high-stakes world of NHL trade negotiations. It reminds us that every roster construction decision involves difficult choices, opportunity costs, and the delicate balance between present needs and future sustainability. Would the Canadiens be better off today with Kyrou instead of Guhle? That's a question that will fuel debate in Montreal sports bars for months to come. But what's clear is that Kent Hughes made a decision that prioritizes long-term success over short-term excitement, and that might be exactly the kind of patience this franchise needs. What do you think? Was Hughes right to keep Guhle, or should the Canadiens have pulled the trigger on landing a proven offensive catalyst like Kyrou? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I'm genuinely curious to hear how you'd handle this impossible decision. And if this kind of insider trade analysis gets your hockey blood pumping, smash that like button and let's keep diving deep into the moves that shape our favorite team's future.